pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Greg Gordon?
Here.
Steve Barthol?
Here.
Susan Snyder?
Here.
Steve Carter?
Present.
Michael George?
Present.
Let's have the approval of the
I
agenda.
make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And approval of the minutes from March 12th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from March 12th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Report of the city clerk about the election results.
Okay. I have before me the certification of election results by Morgan County Clerk for the Village of Sunrise Beach. It's the official certification election results of the April general municipal election held in Morgan County in Missouri on April 2nd, 2024. We hereby certify that for trustee 2-year term, vote for 2, Stephen M. Barthol received 4 votes, and Steve Carter received 4 votes. Jamie Stoller received 4 votes, and Travis DeJong received 3 votes. For trustee 1-year term, vote for 1 was Michael George at 4 votes, and non-certified write-in for Debbie Stoller received 2 votes, and non-certified write-in for Jamie Stoller received 1 vote. I do have the preliminary Camden County results. I do not have the certified results. They are in the mail. So for the preliminary Camden County election results, I have trustee 2-year term, Stephen Barthol at 23, Steve Carter at 22, Travis DeJong at 20, Jamie Stoller at 17, and for trustee 1-year term, vote for 1, I have Michael George at 25.
Wow.
And those are my results.
Okay. And we need to have an election for the chairman of the board.
I make a motion that we elect Susan Schneider as chairman of the board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Done.
Did that need to be a voice vote? Or
I think so.
that's good? Okay. Okay, statement. Good evening, staff, board members, as well as newly elected and citizens of Sunrise Beach. It's hard to believe a year has already passed. I appreciate the board having confidence in my leadership to keep going with all we want to accomplish this year. We've had an extraordinary year full of accomplishments, and we have so much more to come. I'm happy to say that phase 3 of the water sewer project is nearing the end, and we are focusing on what to do for phase 4. Of course, our first decision will be to expand the north sewer plant so that we can dismantle the south plant. I wish we could have completed that earlier. However, we have had the funds to do that. We will be leaving the UV lights on at all times for both plants because we want to keep everyone safe from the unknown bacteria that may exist. I have to point out that our beautiful painted walls, thank you, Charlene, Dahlia, and Aaron. It's so nice to see a fresh new color in this office. Our 3 office copiers are being removed and replaced with 2 less expensive and modern models. Our phones are soon to be replaced with a much improved equipment, both here and at the police department. We are continuing to update the planning and zoning codes, and the codification of ordinances is ongoing. We are updating many ordinances that will be more detailed when it comes to our water and sewer department, making them clear and concise for anyone to read. Our street plan is near the point of bidding, and we have selected the streets with the most need of maintenance. Remember that we have a 10-year plan in place, and street maintenance will be ongoing. So if you have a road that needs repair, know that we see it too. I am very pleased to say that we're working with Camden County to find a solution for the road called Trails End. We will be sharing any news as soon as we have it. For those on social media, we have opened a City of Sunrise Beach Facebook page, which will feature any news or issues for the public to easily see. There are some great annexations soon to come. Our city is ripe for growth and development, and we will do as much as possible to make Sunrise Beach a beautiful place to live and do business. As a note to all, we are advertising for a public works staff member. If you know anyone that might be interested, to have them call the office. As always, thank you for trusting this board and staff with the care of your city. Please call if you have questions or concerns, and we will respond as quickly as possible. And I have before me, somewhere, a proclamation to read. This is for Kids Harbor, Child Abuse Prevention Month 2024 proclamation. Whereas all children deserve to grow up in a safe and nurturing environment, and that child well-being is a shared responsibility. And whereas child abuse respects no racial, religious, class, or geographic boundaries and is a serious growing problem for thousands of children in Missouri annually. And whereas children are the foundation for a prosperous and innovative society, and the foundation for a child's growth and development is established when every community takes responsibility for creating a healthy environment where our children can thrive. And whereas a child's early experience of being nurtured and developing a bond with a consistent, caring adult affects all aspects of behavior and development, and is associated later in life with better academic grades, healthier choices, better health, positive peer interactions, and an increased ability to cope with stress. And whereas it is important for all citizens to become aware of child abuse and the critical need for prevention, and Missouri recognizes the responsibility of every adult to protect children from all forms of child abuse, including child sexual abuse, and recognizes the importance for all adults, youth-serving organizations, schools, and communities to form protective barriers around children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention programs are essential and succeed because of community partnerships created among citizens, social service agencies, schools, businesses, health facilities, law enforcement agencies, faith-based organizations, civil organizations, and other child-serving agencies. And therefore, we, the City of Sunrise Beach, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. We support child abuse prevention efforts and education, and encourage all citizens to wear blue and to build awareness about the importance of prevention of child abuse and neglect. Inspire change by focusing on community activities and public policies that prioritize prevention and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children and families in safe, stable, nurturing environments. Now, therefore, I, Susan Schneider, Chairman of the Board of the City of Sunrise Beach, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 Child Abuse Prevention Month in the City of Sunrise Beach. And I will have this signed for you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Too. And visitors' comments.
No, I don't have any.
No? Would you like to say anything about Kids Harbor?
I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, board members, Chief. So as she was saying, Kids Harbor, we've been around since 2001. We were actually formed by a group of concerned citizens that saw the way that child abuse investigations were occurring, and they decided that that's not really right for the kid. So they got together and formed Kids Harbor in 2001. We are a full 501c3 nonprofit. All services are provided to those kids and their safe caregivers free of charge. We do have offices in both Osage Beach and in St. Robert. We serve 10 counties in mid-Missouri, including the Fort Leonard Wood military installation. Last year, 2023, we had 710 referrals for service for kids to come to Kids Harbor from both law enforcement and children's division. That's where the majority of our referrals come from. So again, thank you very much. Child abuse prevention is all of our responsibility. Not only the investigation part like the chief was talking about, but we have prevention folks that go out into the schools and talk to kids about what's good, what's bad, what's safe, what's not, at a very early age, all the way up to high school. Last year, we were in 21 different school districts with like 12,000 or something kids that we got in front of. So again, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate it. I would like a photograph. We can wait until after the meeting if we could. That would be great. I would entertain any questions.
How are you feeling?
Mostly by crime victims' money coming from the federal government, and then donations.
Okay. Have you gone to churches to ask for this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, we have several churches that donate to us regularly.
Excellent program.
Thank you. Any other questions? Again, thank you very much.
And I don't see it on here, but I do have a letter thanking us from Lynn Creek Police Department for allowing them to use our vehicle when theirs were out of commission.
That's great.
Okay, let's see here. We've already gone through this. Okay, the next item on the agenda is Bill number 2024-10. I will entertain a motion for the first reading by title only.
Make a motion, we have a first reading of bill number 2024-10.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Clerk?
Okay. Bill number 2024-10, an ordinance amending ordinance 09-10, providing for amendments to the zoning code and land subdivision regulations of the Village of Sunrise Beach, first reading.
Okay. And the next item on the bill is number 2024-11. I will entertain a motion for the first reading by title only.
Make a motion for the first reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Clerk?
Okay, so bill number 2024-11, an ordinance establishing a user charge system for the Village of Sunrise Beach to provide funds needed to pay for all expenses associated with the village water system, first reading.
Okay. Next item is bill number 2024-12. I will entertain a motion for the first reading by title only.
I make a motion for Bill 2024-12.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Bill number 2024-12, an ordinance establishing a user charge system for the Village of Sunrise Beach to provide funds needed to pay for all expenses associated with the Village of wastewater system, first reading.
Okay. The next item is a resolution 2024-07. I will entertain a motion for it to be read.
I make a motion that we read 2024-07. A resolution authorizing and approving.
All in favor? Aye.
Resolution 2024-07, a resolution authorizing and approving a proposal from Axon Enterprise Incorporated for the purchase of 5 Axon tasers for the Sunrise Beach Police Department.
Okay. We're going to move on to some old business, which is second reading of Bill 2024-07. I will entertain a motion for the second reading of that bill.
Make a motion that we read Bill number 2024-07.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bill number 2024-07, an ordinance regulating the use of the public water system, the installation and connection of water service, providing penalties for violations thereof in the village of Sunrise Beach, Missouri. Second reading.
And do we need to vote on that, or is that it, that we voted on the second reading?
No, it would be a voice vote for approval.
Okay. Someone
Make a motion, we approve bill number 2024-07.
I second.
voice vote,
I'm sorry, I said voice, I meant roll call.
roll call, okay.
I was going to say that was roll call. Okay, so roll call, Greg Gordon,
Yes.
Steve Barthol,
Yes.
Susan Snyder,
Yes.
Steve Carter,
Yes.
Michael George.
Yes.
Okay, and I believe this is also a second reading on bill. I will look for a motion to have a second reading on 2024-08.
Make a motion that we read, for a second time, bill number 2024-08.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bill number 2024-08, an ordinance regulating the use of the Village of Sunrise Beach public sanitary sewer system, the installation and connection of sanitary sewer service, and providing penalties for violations thereof in the Village of Sunrise Beach, Missouri. Second reading.
And we need a,
Make a motion to accept bill number 2024-08.
I second it.
and a roll call vote.
Roll call. Mhm. So we're gonna go with Michael George,
Yes.
Steve Carter,
Yes.
Susan Snyder,
Yes.
Steve Barthol,
Yes.
and Greg Gordon.
Yes.
Okay, and I will entertain a motion for the first reading on bill 2024-09.
I make a motion that we read.
That's second reading.
2024-09.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Second.
second reading.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We need to roll call it.
Bill number 2024-09, an ordinance of the Village of Sunrise Beach to establish a lead ban in the public and private drinking water plumbing. Second reading.
Make a motion that we accept 2024-09 as written.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Roll call. We're gonna go with Greg Gordon,
Yes.
and we're gonna go with Steve Carter,
Yes.
Susan Snyder,
Yes,
Steve Barthol,
Yes.
Michael George.
Yes.
way to mix it up, clerk.
I was instructed to do so.
Okay.
Nice following instructions.
Okay, let's hear from the city administrator.
Okay, two items, and sorry, the agenda's not. So Trails End Road, Camden County, yes, Chairman Schneider and I attended a meeting of the Camden County Commission on March 28th, I think. And the result of that meeting was there was a kind of a general agreement between Sunrise Beach and the county to share the cost of paving Trails End Road, basically 50-50. A little bit of background, Trails End Road is a gravel road. It was annexed, well, the Hurricane Dolly property was annexed in 2016. There are other properties along that road that were also annexed at that time. The road, however, was not. The road has been maintained by the county all these years. And the business owner, the Tavern at Trails End, has asked the city about not only the road, but also water and sewer. There's no public water and sewer service to the property. And we're also working on that. However, the road is a county road again. So through a bit of discussion between myself and the county, we came up with this general idea of a 50-50 split. So tonight, I think the request is for the board to, either agree with that or not. However the board wants to approach it, we want to go back to Camden County and say, here's how we would suggest we proceed. My idea, at least, would be for us to say, look, we would, if we wanted to split 50-50, that's fine. We'd request the county draft the agreement and then come back to us, and we'd have a written agreement, of course, would be the final action.
I'll tell you part of the reason that we even went down this road Trails Inn, was because of how important that restaurant is for the city of Sunrise Beach. And, you know, they have expanded into Lori. They have another restaurant in Camdenton. So I think it's important. They've not really come to us, although we have gotten other calls from people to fix the road. And we learned it's not our road. And Camden County, knows that it's their road and they get to it when they can, but it's not a top priority for them. And I thought that it would be very meaningful to the city to see if we could do something about the road. And we still have to discuss, obviously, the whole water sewer thing. CJ's right there on the corner does have sewer, or do they have water?
They do not have water.
They just have our sewer service. They do not have water. But I think, you know, in growing the city, these are some of the things that we want to look at as important businesses trying to make their areas look good. And
How many homes are accessed through that road? Because the homes are in the city.
is there only one livable home, or there's like three places?
As you turn on the Trails End, you've got CG's property, then there's one home on the left, then you have Trails End, and then you have, Dolly's house in the city. So there's 2 homes in the city.
Okay.
Having it in the city would benefit a lot from on the safety side. There's a lot of parking that happens on the road out there, and it makes it impossible for emergency vehicles to get through. With it not being a city road, I have no jurisdiction on enforcing any kind of parking or blockages. So that would help me a lot with making sure that we're able to get through there in the case of an emergency.
So having that road paved would help the citizens that own property down there as well as the business.
I believe so. And I don't know if you all have ever heard, I've heard many comments like, why don't you fix that road?
Oh, yeah.
And I constantly had to say, it's not our road. But
Is Trails ain't gonna do anything about their parking lot?
I don't know the answer to
Because
that.
I think they would be beneficial if they would pay that
Yeah.
because it's a
Well,
necessary range.
that would be up to them, not
So
us.
when the road gets paved, are we gonna annex that into our city then at the same kind of the timing of it?
Correct, and I should have mentioned that earlier. Yeah, that was the general agreement. We split the cost and then we will accept maintenance going forward.
Do you think that the county would be agreeable, like a developer has to pave the road before we take it in? Before we start maintaining it, is there any way that the county would do like 70-30 or 60-40?
We can ask. What I was told is typically when a landowner comes to the county and says pave my gravel road, what they do typically is the property owners pay. And they, you know, the county would actually do the work, of course. But I don't think the county on their own goes out and paves gravel roads. At least that's what I was told.
No, they do an assessment and it goes on your personal property tax.
Well, and they did indicate to us that their budget was already in. So they would literally have to take something from another project to do this, but they were willing to look at it. So I think we should hear what they have to say. If we can get it 50-50, I think that's a deal for us just to make our business happy.
And
So-
annexing in.
And annexing in.
Would make it easier on law enforcement.
I do have a
Yes.
question on this 50-50 proposal. If this is a 50-50 proposal, who's gonna put the road in? Camden County?
In the county.
Yes.
It'll be to our specs though, is that correct? The specs that we get from our
Yeah, it
engineer?
would be subject to an agreement, right?
Mhm.
So whatever, assuming we get to the next phase, which is a written agreement, what I understand is the county's typical specs would be 4 inches of asphalt on that road. But we'd wanna, of course, look at those and make sure that they're acceptable to, you know, how we would like to do things. And I think I would like to see that road striped. And I know that wasn't really discussed when we were at the Camden County meeting. We have a bigger project that's gonna go out for bid later. It's possible maybe to include the striping in part of our package that would then take care of that road. I know that again, my understanding is the county doesn't regularly stripe a lot of the roads.
So I mean, for tonight, since we don't have any kind of agreement or anything, it's pretty much just for the board to understand we're going after this, and if we do get an agreement, it will come before the board.
What I'd like to be able to tell the county, if the board's agreeable, is that we, the board here, is agreeable to the 50/50 cost share. And
Okay.
please draft the agreement, for our, final action.
Need a motion?
Can we have a motion for that?
I make a motion that we go forward and create an agreement where we pay 50/50 with the county to pave that Trails End Road or whatever.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye? Aye? Yes, no?
I'm gonna say nay.
Okay. Do we need any more
Well-
discussion on it, or?
He has voted yet.
It's a county road.
Mhm.
So wouldn't it be the county to pave it and then we annex it in and then we take care of it?
We would like that.
Oh, we can't force
It
it.
would be under their timeline, and we don't know when that would be.
Is there any exigency in getting it done? I mean, is it?
Well, it's a business, I think, one of
I
the,
can see the benefit of it.
Yeah.
I'm just,
one of the discussions that we had was, what if we were to lose a business because we did nothing to try to make something happen? I mean,
Sales
that's,
tax, right?
you know,
I'm just not
That's-
comfortable with this 50/50 agreement because you get two forms of government. This guy said you pay for half. You may be paying a lot more than half because of their,
Mathematics on.
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I see that.
This number, this 60 to 80,000 was that their public works guy at the meeting that had claimed that that would be the cost of that? I think he had looked at it and he was at the meeting and he came up with that,
So-
60 to 80.
Can we just have that validated with our engineers? How hard would that be?
Yeah, I mean, we'd have their specifications and their costs. We'd run it past our engineers, determine if it was reasonable. Sure. And we'd also want documentation of the actual costs. Basically, my understanding was it was a per ton price. And I don't think that labor was included. I think, and I could be wrong on this one, but I think it was just the cost of materials. So, but regardless, all this would come back to you if we
Right.
proceed in the form of agreement.
I mean, we're not voting yes on doing it. We're voting yes on going
Getting the proposal.
forward to get a proposal.
yeah, I would vote yes on more fact finding.
I would vote yes for fact finding and information.
Yes.
Would that be acceptable at this time?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
Okay,
however y'all want to proceed.
okay.
While we're on the subject, the water sewer is challenging and mainly from a cost standpoint and maybe a little bit from constructability, but the water and sewer mains are on the east side of 5. And so in order to get water and sewer over to that side, you have to bore the road, of course. And then it's a fair distance, about 1,200 linear feet to get down to the property.
Question, does CG's have sewer?
Yes.
Oh, you mentioned that.
I believe they have sewer. I know they don't have
So they don't
water.
have water.
They do, but it is not a main that we can utilize for that location. And on that point, it's a service line, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yes, so it was probably a 2-inch main that was bored underneath the road to service that property. I think that's the situation there. It's not a main that we can continue to extend.
Okay.
I'm certain of that. So we have had Shoreline, Alpha Engineering price it. We don't have a firm cost estimate, but it will be expensive. if we want to contract it, and use, if we were trying to do it as a change order to the existing contract we have on phase 3, it would get a bit expensive. So we're not to the finish line. I don't know, we can discuss it further if you wish, but the one thing I would say is, we want to get the water and sewer in before the road is paved, right? And so, I'm speaking only for myself, I think the city has some responsibility to at least, determine how can we do this, right? What the costs are. We don't have any obligation to actually pave the road or extend the water and sewer, that's accurate. But this is a location within our city that has been there for quite some time. So I would like to get it there.
Doesn't Dolly have sewer and water at the house?
Oh, I'm not, no, not to my knowledge, no, I don't think so.
That never did go down.
Yeah.
There was something that happened 5 years ago that,
I think she thought it had been promised to her and it had not, and that was a misunderstanding or something, but regardless, I mean, we can't deal with what happened in the past. We need to decide if we want to go forward on anything for them going forward.
well, I think the restaurant would need water and sewer.
Yeah.
So we're waiting on Shoreline to get back to us with
Yeah, we're still trying to sort it out, just what's the best approach, and,
is that the end of our line right there? So the Canoco, nothing further down.
No, there's water and sewer all the way to Hurricane Dam.
Is there? Okay.
Yes.
But not down that road.
But not on the west side.
Yeah. CG's is the last property that's in the city on the west side.
Yes, on the other side, it's all the way to the bridge.
Okay.
So, we're working on it, and, there's some other areas of town that we're also looking at. We still have some money that's left in the phase 3 program, and, the commitments we made are Summer Point and then the Como project, and we don't have we haven't negotiated a contract change yet with Relay for the Como work. And until we have that, we won't know how much money we have left over. So there's some moving parts, but we want to get, we do want to use those funds, and we want to get as many people as we can get connected. Unfortunately, when you start looking at some of the details, it just does get expensive.
Well, if we already have the funds that we could allocate to the project, it seems reasonable to put it in before you do the road.
Yeah, we definitely want to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as we decide that the road is something we want to finish, put it in before the road, because otherwise you're tearing the road up and put a Band-Aid back on it. So you're tearing up stuff that you just fixed.
And I'm sure that this was not going to be any fast movement.
Oh.
I mean, they've got to go through their meeting and then come back to us, and we got to negotiate back and forth. So, I mean, the road is not something that's going to happen anytime soon. But, so where do we lie with this right now?
Seems like we need some more information. Happy to do that. Get
Okay.
more clarity from the county.
Okay.
Maybe by next meeting, the May meeting at least, we will have, we should by then have a lot clearer picture on, where we stand with the phase 3 contract. And, I can get better information from the county as well.
Okay. So we just want to put a hold on it for this meeting and have more information next meeting.
I would suggest that if something comes up that we need to push on this, we do an emergency meeting.
We can do that.
I mean, we got a business, probably, are they asking? Is the business
No.
trails in?
They,
Sure. I mean, they've mentioned it to me. Now, they haven't, certainly haven't come to you all and, made any sort of like direct request, not that I'm aware of.
And we're already collecting sales taxes.
Yes.
So we don't benefit anything from income, really, from that.
No, they're in our city limits. I mean,
They're paying now.
sure, of course.
If we don't do anything, you're still paying.
Yes, we are.
But I wanna give them something back too. I think we need to, if you need to step it up, tell us, come back.
Yeah, and again, not to belabor the point, but I think, I've told many people this, we take calls a lot on water and sewer, of course, there's a lot of demand for it. And I've told everybody, I want to get everyone within the city connected to water and sewer here at some point. And, I knew this from the beginning, it was going to get expensive, but as we get into some of the fine points, there are, challenges with a lot of the remaining connections, right? Long lengths, high cost, the actual constructability in some of these locations is really challenging because of the rock primarily. And so it's, it's not easy, but again, I think, we just have a responsibility over time to try to cover the entire.
Along that road, how many property owners would be adjacent to a new road?
Just one.
I'm not tracking.
I think there's one house beyond that.
Oh, you're talking about on the opposite side of the road that's not in the city?
No, I'm talking about what's in the city.
We have two houses inside the city on that road, Dolly's and then the other one in between the tavern and CG's.
And that's all? There's no vacant lots?
There's some vacant property, but it's all pretty much with that one house, it's a large parcel, if I remember correctly. There are a lot of houses past that, as that loops back around the tree. But actually in the city, that would be it. There's nothing on the north side in the city, and there's 1, 2, 3 houses on the north side that's outside the city right now.
Yeah, and of course, if anyone who's not in the city now that wants water and sewer, they have to annex. So by running it down Trails End, of course, it'd be available to all those properties. And we could potentially connect, more customers. And then when you get down to the tavern property, there's a lot more properties that potentially you could extend the services to. But each one would require annexation.
Would you need one of us to walk that and ask them?
When and if, I guess, if we get the water and sewer down to that property, then, yeah, sure.
Okay.
So where are we right now? Do we want to move forward with seeing what the county is willing to do?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Was your answer that 10 acres, a little over 10 acres there on the south side, all belongs to one person?
I gotta get something.
So that person owns 10 acres of vacant property.
9.6 and 1.8. 1.8 has a house on it, a little pond,
Mm-hmm.
and then 9.6 acres, it wraps around
And a pond, or
CG.
is it a,
I don't know if it's a lagoon or you're saying lagoon. I think it's.
That's the cleanest lagoon I've ever seen.
It would be a very swimming lagoon.
Okay, so are we making a motion to do more fact finding on it? Is that
I
what
make
we're
a
doing?
motion that we look into this a little further and get the information back to us. And if we need to move on this quicker, create a special meeting. Second motion.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Steve, you wanna explain the fence?
Yeah, and this came at us a bit late. We have 2 bids and handing them out. So Oak Ridge Trailer Park, used to have their own treatment plant, and I think the phase 2 project maybe. I don't think it was in phase 3. I think this goes back to phase 2. The treatment plant was, of course, was decommissioned. All those locations, the trailers were brought onto the city system. At the time, the idea was we were just going, that treatment plant was going to be decommissioned and taken offline entirely. It didn't happen. There was discussions between the state and the city, well before I was here. Last fall, we had a issue with the lift station that pumps, that now the city lift station. The lift station overflowed into the tank, and so we held it there, and of course we ended up pumping that tank out and getting rid of the sewage that way. But through all the discussion, we determined, we feel it's best to maintain that tank, keep it there as an overflow in case we have these issues in the future. So in the process of decommissioning the plant with the state of Missouri, we came up with a plan. We're going to fence the site. We're going to keep the rainwater out of the tank. And so anyways, this is the fence cost. We got 2 bids.
There's a bid on the backside too. The Lake Central fence, $8,200.
And this is all because of an agreement that we would take care of the decommissioning?
Well, it was our tank, correct? Or no?
Yes. So I wasn't here, and I'm really not sure what happened before me. I do know going forward, since we want to maintain it as a tank for our own city system purposes, that's where the responsibility for the fence comes in.
Right. Because right now it's just open. It's got
Well,
it's
in
got
other words,
orange
if
tape
you're
around
gonna
it.
partially use that system as for storage or emergency purposes, then it's not decommissioned.
Correct.
That's why you have to fence it.
Yes. Sure.
Yeah, and right now it's wide open, so it really does need something on it.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see the second quote is a little better. Because the first quote took me back a little bit. Is the second quote comparable?
As best of my understanding, yes.
Okay.
Andy, the public works director, he's the guy that talked to the contractors.
Because I mean, he's on the higher quote, he's talking about concrete posts and all that stuff. I'm assuming that the second guy is gonna do the same.
I believe so. I think it was as best we can tell an apples to apples type of bid.
I am concerned about that being open. When I first saw it, it's like a dog, a kid, an adult could fall in it very easily. So I think we really have to do something.
No, I'm in agreement there. And I think in hindsight, all these systems, as we're putting sewers in, I don't know if they're taken into consideration as we're doing these systems. Decommission, because it's not cheap to decommission these systems.
Right, yes.
And we don't really
Didn't they
know.
just, the place, they're getting ready to do the addition on phase 3 to go into that. Isn't there an existing system there?
Yes.
So now, every time you look at one of these systems and we don't do anything about it, when we go forward, we're gonna wind up paying the decommissioning fees or fencing fees.
Well, on Summer Point, we did not take over the decommissioning, did we?
Correct, right.
Yeah, so I mean, we have to make that agreement whenever we decide to put a new plant in, and I don't know that they did anything with this.
The only reason that we're doing what we're doing now is we think there's some value in keeping that tank as an overflow.
Oh, I understand wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about for future reference, these type of systems need to be taken in consideration, decommission or fencing, whatever we're gonna have to do with them.
Right, and we've had those same
Because if we
discussions.
take somebody offline and put in on our system, is we just need to make sure it's either their sole responsibility or is it gonna be ours?
Yeah, the original plan, as best I understand, was the city was not gonna be involved. And we did put the lift station at that same site, the new station. But, you know, it's just a pump station.
Right.
It doesn't have a tank. And so it wasn't until later that, you know, we had this issue and we felt like, you know, the way I looked at it, for $5,200, we're buying a overflow tank, in so many words. We have some additional costs in the cover, but that should be somewhat minimal.
They give you a time frame on being able to do this?
I did not talk to him directly. Andy did. I would expect within the next several weeks.
I'd say as soon as possible
Yes.
to mitigate liability.
Yeah, and we can obviously, you know, I can make that condition if you wish. We'll accept the quote, but it's got to be done in a month. That'd be fine with me.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Make a motion that we approve the Truesdale fence proposal, subject to the installation.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Steve. What else? Do you want to mention anything about the special meeting? We are having a special meeting on the 22nd. I think you're all aware of that.
Yeah, I really don't have anything else unless you all have any questions for me.
The special meeting is for the annexation of Frankie and Louie's.
Did you set a
Deer
time
Valley.
for that?
Pardon me?
Did you set a time for that?
Did I? 6?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Planning and Zoning Commission did review it. The petition was submitted late March, and so we had a scheduled planning and zoning meeting. So they reviewed it. The applicant or the petitioner was here, and I think there was maybe a couple questions, but the commission did recommend approval. We do need a public hearing, of course, and so the public hearing is that April 22 meeting date. So the main reason for the moving more quickly is Deer Valley Road is, if the annexation moves forward, we would then want to annex the Deer Valley Road from Highway 5 all the way down to the Frankie Lou's location. And I'd like to give our engineers some clarity on that point sooner than later, whether that road's in or out. So
County road right now.
partly, yeah, it's city maintained for some distance just past the apartments. And then it's about half of the road, so to speak. The rest of it goes down to their location.
So that meeting will be a public hearing, and then we will have a meeting, a regular board meeting to vote on it, correct?
Yeah, there'd be an ordinance drafted. It would just be first reading. I mean, we wouldn't,
Oh, it'd just be first reading?
yeah, first reading that night, and then the second reading would be in May.
Okay.
But if the board is agreeable, you know, in that first reading, I'd be comfortable telling the engineers to include in the project. If something happened, you could make it. So,
Chief of Police report.
In the month of March, the police department had 60 calls for service, 360 self-initiated activities, issued 56 citations, 57 warnings. March has been a busy month, all stats increasing as well as training. Officers have been taking extensive training in combating human trafficking. The lake area, all law enforcement, we're really working hard trying to get a human trafficking task force started here at the lake. It's something we definitely need. We're hoping to send Schultz to some more training and make sure she's an integral part of that task force, so we can make sure that Sunrise Beach and our entire west side is well serviced by that task force. In March, Lieutenant Schultz and I attended a SART meeting, which is a sexual assault response team. Proud to announce that Sunrise Beach Police Department is now one of 6 agencies that belong to this team. Essentially what happens is we all take rotations, 1-week rotations. Any sexual assault call that goes into Lake Regional, which serves, you'd have a better call on how many counties Lake Regional serves. I mean, it's massive.
Significant.
But if sexual assault goes into there and it's our call week, we go take a preliminary report, decide who has jurisdiction, if a crime was committed, kick it off to that jurisdiction, real quick, simple, easy. So it's gonna help build those relationships with the other jurisdictions as well as serve us. We're also part of the multi-jurisdictional team now, where we'll be meeting once a month with all the area agencies and sharing different information and intel. We've been invited to join the CIT group. I've told them we'd love to join, but right now with getting on the MDT and SART and summer heating up, we need to kind of ease into joining everything. We've been awarded an overtime grant for Click Or Ticket campaign going from May 5th to June 2nd. We are currently working a DWI grant from March 15th to April 19th and a youth seatbelt grant from April 1st to April 15th. In your package is a request to enter into an agreement with Axon for new tasers. This project is of the utmost importance as our tasers are 15 years old, failing and no longer backed by tasers, insurance, or legal team. Tasers are a crucial tool to reduce risk to injury to officers as well as the public, as the use of tasers have been proven to be much more safe than hands-on tactics. Buying new tasers provides our officers with the best equipment available, as well as provide us with valuable warranty and tasers legal team in the event of a lawsuit.
Thank you. Any discussion? We didn't need any kind of vote or anything on the tasers. That was included in the budget. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it was, that resolution earlier was covered it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Committee, finance report, do we have, we would like to approve the list of bills. Did we get the list of bills?
Yeah, let's do that. I have a question on one bill. I make a motion that we approve the Sunrise Beach accounts payable agent for April 4th. I went over it. The largest expense is Evolve Solutions, which is a new copier that replaces a couple other deadbeat copiers. And then, so that's the first motion. And the second motion then would be the water sewer fund, pay bills for water and sewer fund. Can I get a second on the first?
A second?
All in favor?
Okay.
And can we get a second on the motion for the water and sewer payables?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have any other, anything,
Pay the delay.
do we have anything else to, discuss? Anybody?
Phase 3.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
How about the phase 3?
We've got a phase 3
Yeah.
sewer.
No, I thought you said that.
No.
Approve, can I have a motion to approve the phase 3 sewer project?
Make a motion to approve the phase 3 sewer project. Can I get a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Excellent, guys.
Big meeting.